The growl was so low and menacing, it stopped Daniel Reeves mid-sentence, his coffee mug frozen halfway to his lips. Bear, his 15-year-old golden retriever who had never shown aggression to anyone, was baring his teeth, a rumble coming from deep in his chest. Daniel knelt, one hand steadying himself on the floor, the other trying to soothe the rigid animal at his side.
Oh, sweetheart. It's just me. You don't have to put on a show.
But as Daniel rose, a wave of dizziness hit him. The room tilted, and he had to grab the couch arm to keep from stumbling.
This started the same month Bear began growling. It can't be nothing.
He remembered the first time, 3 months ago, when Bear had bared his teeth at Nicole and he'd written it off as old age.
You are pale, Daniel. Maybe you should see a doctor yourself.
But it was Bear he was worried about. That evening, he sat on the couch, phone in hand, and dialed the one number he trusted.
Dr. Morrison, it's Daniel Reeves. I need to bring Bear in. Something's not right, and I need answers.
The next morning, Daniel pulled into Morrison Animal Clinic, Bear lying silently in the passenger seat, his muzzle already tense.
Bear, old friend, let's get you on the table and see what's troubling you.
He's been growling, Catherine, at Nicole. Never done that before, and he's stiff, restless at night.
Any chance he got into chemicals, pesticides, rat bait, maybe something in the garage?
Number. But I've been feeling off too, dizzy, tired. Probably nothing, but it lines up.
Daniel, I am going to suggest a full senior blood panel. But if you want me to dig deeper, just say the word.
Run a full toxicology panel. For poisons. I need to know if someone's been hurting him.
Dr. Catherine didn't argue. She simply nodded, reached for a syringe, and drew a vial of dark blood from Bear's leg as Daniel held him steady.
It'll take a few days for the tox screen, but I'll put a rush on it. You take care of yourself, Daniel.
Come on, Bear. Let's go home. We're going to figure this out.
At home, the days blurred. Each morning, Daniel felt heavier, the room spinning when he stood. Nicole brought him coffee, French press, 2 sugars, the way he liked it. Bear's growl rumbled from the corner.
Bear, enough. Come on, boy, it's just Nicole.
He really doesn't like me anymore. Maybe he senses I am the wicked stepmother.
Why does she keep making the coffee? It tastes different.
On the 4th afternoon, his phone buzzed. Dr. Morrison's name lit the screen, and his stomach clenched.
Daniel, I need you to come to the clinic right now. Don't wait.
What did you find, Catherine? Is Bear going to be okay?
It's not just Bear. We need to talk in person. Please hurry.
Daniel hung up, his hands trembling. He left Bear with a pat and drove in silence, dread coiling in his chest. Daniel entered the exam room. Catherine's pale face stopped him cold. The report lay open.
It's Brodifacoum, industrial rat poison, chronic exposure. Bear has been ingesting it for months.
We don't use rat poison. He never gets into anything. How is this possible?
She tapped the page. The metabolite curve was circled in red, steady and unbroken.
Someone has been giving him this intentionally, Daniel. This is deliberate poisoning.
Poisoning? Who would poison a dog? Catherine, are you absolutely certain?
The pattern is clear. Small, repeated doses. It would cause the symptoms you've described in both of you.
His mind raced to the bitter aftertaste of his morning coffee, the dizziness that never lifted.
Is there anyone close to you who has access to both you and Bear? Someone who could do this?
I don't know. But I am going to find out.
Instead of going home, Daniel got in his truck and called the one man who could run a discreet panel. Raymond Cruz. He arrived at Raymond's cluttered home lab, shelves overflowing with forensic textbooks and old case files.
Daniel Reeves. Haven't seen you since the Whitfield trial. What's so urgent you couldn't just drop by for a beer?
I need a full toxicology panel on myself. Rodenticide metabolites, and not a word to anyone.
Raymond's practiced hands swabbed Daniel's arm and drew a vial of blood without another question.
This is serious. If someone's dosing you, you need to take every precaution.
Just get me the results. I'll handle the rest.
Raymond started the toxicology screen, his fingers steady but his mind unsettled by what he might find. Daniel walked back into his house to find Nicole reading on the couch. She didn't look up. Bear thumped his tail weakly.
Nicole. The coffee. The timing. It couldn't just be coincidence.
The call came at 2 in the morning, jolting Daniel awake. Raymond's voice was flat with dread.
It's positive, Daniel. Brodifacoum metabolite. Same dose pattern as Bear, identical curve.
How long have I been ingesting it?
Months. Small, chronic doses. Every test matches the canine scan. You and Bear have been poisoned together.
Daniel's chest tightened. The bitter coffee, the unexplained dizziness. It had never been random.
Someone close is doing this. Someone with daily access to your food. You have to think, who makes your meals?
There's only one person who pours my coffee every morning. But I can't believe. It's Nicole, isn't it?
She works at a pest control supply company. Daniel, Brodifacoum is their bread and butter. You have to face it.
I need proof. Real evidence, not suspicion. Help me find it.
He hung up and sat in the dark, listening to Bear's soft breathing, the only warning he'd ever needed. The next morning, Daniel sat at his laptop while Bear dozed. He typed Pest Guard supplies into the search bar. The company's website loaded, and there it was. Bulk Brodifacoum concentrate, sold to commercial clients daily.
She manages the inventory. She could take a vial any time, and no one would ever know.
He waited until Thursday evening, when Nicole left for her book club. Then he slipped into her home office. He searched the desk drawers first. Pens, old receipts, a half-empty pack of mints. Nothing out of place.
She's too methodical to leave evidence in plain sight. I'm missing something.
Then he crouched low and saw it. A small metal drawer, tucked beneath the cabinet with a built-in lock.
This is it, the one place she thinks is safe. Tomorrow I open it.
He left the office untouched and returned to the living room, where Bear's tail thumped a welcome.
We're close, boy. Just a little longer.
The next afternoon, while Nicole was at work, Daniel returned to her office with a slender lockpick. He slid the pick into the keyhole, working it with a patience born of decades reading witness tells. The drawer slid open. 3 unmarked glass vials gleamed in the low light. Under the vials, a crumpled receipt. The line item read, Brodifacoum 0.5% solution, 50 milliliters. The buyer was listed simply as N. Carson, Nicole's maiden name. Beside the receipt lay a small notebook bound with a black elastic band. He opened it, page after page. Dates, precise measurements. Day 47. 4 drops in the coffee. Symptoms increased.
She documented every dose. She was measuring my decline like a science project.
His hands trembled as he raised his phone and photographed every vial, every page, every damning line. He sat on the couch, Bear's warm flank pressed against his leg, and stared at the photos that would rewrite everything. Daniel drove to Raymond's lab before dawn, the thumb drive heavy with evidence.
This is enough for an arrest. But you want more, don't you?
Her uncle died mysteriously in 2012. Heart attack, official cause. I want to know the truth.
Raymond pulled up the newspaper archive. The headline read, Businessman dies at 64. No foul play suspected.
Look at the probate record. Nicole inherited everything. $200,000. No contest.
A yellowed photo showed a younger Nicole embracing her uncle, the same cold smile she wore today.
She's not a novice. She's been perfecting this for years. I need to catch her in the act. Set up a controlled environment. She won't stop until I am dead.
The lake house. I can install hidden cameras, but you'll be the bait, Daniel. Are you sure?
Daniel's jaw tightened. He had prosecuted 100 killers. Now he would be the blade that cut his own wife's trap. That evening, Daniel placed a call to an old ally in the FBI, a man who owed him a quiet favor.
I need a controlled environment. The lake house. No digital footprint. I'll be the bait.
The plan crystallized. An isolated retreat, cameras pre-placed, agents on standby in the next cove. 2 days before the weekend, he drove up alone, checked every room, and found the perfect spot for a lens. He concealed a micro camera behind a row of dusty hardbacks, its lens aligned precisely toward the kitchen counter, the hardest detail bare. He drove the old dog to a trusted kennel back in town, the one with the heated runs.
Nicole, I've reserved the lake house for the weekend. Just us. What do you say? Don't oversell. Don't flinch. She smells pressure.
The morning he planned to ask, he poured his own coffee. Black, safe, and waited for Nicole's footsteps. The trap was set. All that remained was to invite the spider into its web. Daniel walked into the living room, where Nicole was folding a cashmere throw with careful, precise motions.
I was thinking we could use a weekend away. Just the two of us, at the lake house. What do you think?
Really? That sounds perfect. I've been hoping we could get away. Just us. No distractions.
She wants no witnesses. That's why she's so quick to agree.
She crossed the room and kissed his cheek, her lips cold against his skin, and he felt the trap tighten around them both. Later, alone in his study, he called the kennel. The receptionist said Bear was resting well, and Daniel's voice broke just for a second.
2 more days, Bear. Then you come home, and she never gets near us again.
By Friday dawn, 3 federal agents had moved into a hunting cabin across the lake, their surveillance van concealed under a tarp. Daniel packed a weekend bag with trembling hands, tucking a burner phone into the lining, his only tether to the agents. When he walked to the car, Nicole was already there, her overnight bag in the trunk, humming softly to herself. The spider was entering the web. They arrived at the lake house as the sun dipped behind the pines, the water a sheet of polished copper. Daniel carried the bags inside, every familiar creak of the floorboards, now sounding like a metronome, counting down.
Let's sit on the porch with some wine. We should enjoy this place before the summer's gone.
They sat, watching the water turn to black glass. She refilled his glass twice, and he let each sip pass his lips, knowing she wouldn't poison the wine.
I'll make us coffee in the morning. The real stuff, like you love. None of that instant.
That's it, the ritual. She's already setting the stage. That sounds perfect, sweetheart. I am ready to turn in, though. Long drive.
In the bedroom, he waited until he heard her shower running, then slipped into the living room to check the camera's red light. It was recording. The lens caught the entire kitchen, the coffee maker, the counter where she would stand in the morning.
Tomorrow, she hangs herself. I just have to survive 1 more cup.
The morning sun slanted through the kitchen windows as Daniel entered, the air already thick with the scent of brewing coffee. Nicole stood at the counter, her back to him.
You are up early. Everything okay?
Just excited for our day. Sit down, sweetheart. I'll bring it to you.
Daniel didn't move to the table. He eased himself against the counter, directly in line with the hidden camera, his pulse thrumming. She poured the dark roast into 2 mugs, the steam curling like an accusation.
2 sugars, right? Just like you love.
Perfect.
Then she opened her purse, a slow, deliberate motion, and her hand disappeared inside.
This is the moment. The lens is watching. Just 1 more second.
Her fingers emerged, wrapped around a small glass vial, a perfect echo of the ones he'd photographed in her drawer. Nicole uncapped the vial and tilted it over Daniel's mug. 3 clear drops fell, silent and lethal, absorbed instantly into the dark coffee. Through the hidden camera, the image was pristine. Her hand, the vial, the mug, the timestamp burning in the corner. She turned, smile intact, and held out the cup. Daniel took it, his fingers steady, his eyes never leaving hers.
Drink up. We have the whole day ahead.
He raised the mug to his lips, the rim just touching his mouth, and then, as if remembering something, he lowered it.
Before I forget, did you see my phone? I must have left it in the bedroom.
As Nicole glanced down the hall, Daniel pivoted smoothly and poured the entire cup into the sink, leaving only a wet ring. He set the empty mug on the counter and slipped his hand into his pocket, thumb pressing the burner phone's single preset button. Across the lake, an agent's screen lit up with a single word from the burner feed. Now.
70 seconds. They'll be at the door. I just need 70 seconds.
The front door splintered open. Two men in FBI jackets filled the threshold, sidearms raised, their focus locked on Nicole. FBI. Don't move. The shout echoed through the lake house as Nicole froze, the vial still clutched in her hand. Nicole shrieked, the vial slipping from her fingers and clattering to the floor. An agent lunged forward, scooping it into an evidence bag. Another agent pinned her arms behind her back, while his partner read her rights in a flat, practiced monotone.
What is this? Daniel, you senile fool. What have you done?
Daniel stood motionless by the kitchen island, watching the woman who had tried to erase him finally face the rope she'd woven.
It's over, Nicole. The camera caught everything.
You have no proof. That coffee was fine. I'll sue you to bankruptcy.
The lead agent held up the bagged vial and nodded toward the bookshelf. We'll have all the proof we need.
Bear was right about you. He saw what I refused to see.
While agents cataloged evidence in the kitchen, a senior agent took Daniel's statement in the quiet living room.
I noticed the coffee tasted metallic. Bear started growling at her months ago. I had my blood tested. Same poison.
On a tablet, the agent replayed the hidden camera feed, Nicole's hand, the unmistakable vial, the clear drops falling. They found 2 more vials tucked inside Nicole's luggage, along with a duplicate receipt in her maiden name. The case was airtight. When the agents finally released him, Daniel stepped onto the porch and pulled out his personal phone.
This is Daniel Reeves. Can you bring Bear home tonight? I need him here.
The kennel van arrived as dusk settled. Bear pressed his gray muzzle against the wire gate, tail thumping a frantic rhythm. The moment the gate swung open, the old dog lurched forward and buried his head against Daniel's chest.
You saved me, Bear. You knew. I am sorry I didn't listen sooner.
That night, Bear slept at the foot of the bed for the first time in years, his soft snore, the only sound Daniel needed. The next morning, Daniel drove Bear to Morrison Animal Clinic, the old dog's tail wagging weakly.
We'll start him on a hepatic support diet and intravenous fluids to flush his system. He's strong for his age.
Will he regain the weight he lost? The poison? It took so much from both of us.
It'll be slow, but yes. With the special diet and no more exposure, he can live another year or 2 comfortably.
Daniel took the bag of hepatic support kibble, its label a symbol of the long recovery ahead. Later that day, a detective called. Nicole's case had prompted a full review of her uncle's 2012 death.
I have her journal, the receipts, the same poison in her uncle's likely profile. I'll send everything.
That evening, he sat surrounded by old case files, cross-referencing dates. The local news already ran the headline.
Piece by piece, the image of a serial poisoner emerges. She killed her uncle for money. She would have killed me.
He filled Bear's bowl with the new kibble, watching the old dog eat with a steadiness that felt like victory. Week by week, Bear grew stronger, his walks longer, his gray muzzle lifted to the breeze. The house felt different without Nicole's chill. Bear no longer flinched at kitchen sounds. One night, Daniel scrolled through his phone and found the old photo. Bear's teeth bared, growl frozen. He printed it on glossy paper and held it up, a perfect capture of the warning that saved him. With a black magnet, He fixed it to the refrigerator, right at eye level. He stood back, arms crossed, and felt the house settle into something true again. Each morning, as his coffee dripped, his gaze would find that photo.
It wasn't a memorial. It was a salute.
Bear thumped his tail by the bowl, waiting, oblivious to the shrine. Daniel poured the kibble, the growl above them both. A quiet talisman against the dark. 2 years passed like a slow tide. Bear turned 17, his ginger coat now moon-white on the muzzle, but his eyes still held a quiet spark. In the evenings, the old dog would settle his heavy head on Daniel's lap, sighing as if shedding the last memory of the poison. One Tuesday, the local paper carried the final headline: Nicole Reeves sentenced to 30 years. Her uncle's case closed.
Justice doesn't erase the scars, but it lets you breathe again.
He poured himself a black coffee, the steam curling safely, and sat at the counter, with Bear dozing at his feet. His gaze drifted to the fridge, where Bear's printed growls still hung. The tape yellowed at the edges.
You were the best prosecutor I ever worked with, old friend. You never once raised your voice.
Bear's tail thumped once against the cushion, a sleepy acknowledgement, and Daniel felt the last cold coil of that chapter loosen, replaced by the simple, steady warmth of a dog who had refused to let him die. One autumn morning, Bear didn't rise. He had passed in his sleep, curled in his bed by the window. Daniel knelt and touched the cool gray muzzle. The silence that followed was absolute. He wrapped Bear in the flannel blanket they'd shared for years and carried him outside, past the silent kitchen. Under the sprawling oak by the lake, he took up the shovel and began to dig, each heave a small goodbye. He placed Bear's favorite squeaky toy beside him and folded the blanket's edge with trembling hands. His tears fell silently as he returned the earth, patting it smooth with the flat of his palm.
Good boy, Bear. The best there ever was.
He sat back on his heels, the lake water still as glass, and let the quiet hold him. Later, he found a smooth river stone and scratched 9 words with a knife tip. He laid the stone at the head of the grave, where the sun would strike it first each morning. Daniel returned to the lake house one spring afternoon. Sitting on the porch with his eyes on the oak, he reached into his pocket and pulled out Bear's worn leather collar, the tags clicking softly.
Still on patrol, aren't you, boy?
Back home, he hung the collar beside the fridge, next to the printed growl. He filled the coffee maker, the sputter and steam a comfort now, not a threat. He poured the black coffee and held the warm mug. No bitter aftertaste, no fear. His gaze lifted to the photo, the frozen snarl, the bared teeth. A warning that had saved everything. He raised the mug a fraction, a silent toast, then a single, firm nod.
Good boy, Bear.
The kitchen held the silence, the photo a permanent witness, and Daniel drank his coffee, unafraid. The house was still when Daniel walked into the kitchen. The first light of morning spilling across the counter, his eyes went to the refrigerator, to the black and white photograph held by a single magnet. He crossed the room and touched the glass, his fingertip tracing the curve of Bear's bared teeth.
You were the best thing I ever did, old friend.
The coffee maker let out its final hiss, but Daniel didn't turn. He stood there, a man who had been poisoned, prosecuted, and saved, all because of a dog's instinct. The photo remained, a guardian in glass and ink. He poured a cup of coffee, black, no sugar, and took a deep, unhurried sip. Then he looked at the photo and nodded, the smallest of smiles creasing his weathered face. And in that kitchen, the growl lived on.